Hello friends, it's Grace here. It is Wednesday, it's Watts of Love Wednesday, which means it's the first Wednesday of the month. This is October. I'm going to be doing a Watts of Love Wednesday project, which anyone here can claim. And when you claim the project, I'll create the project here live. Somebody in the comments, you can just say claim project. And then what I'll ask you to do is make a donation to Watts of Love, and I send the project to you. It's that simple. It's that simple. But I do want to announce the Watts of Love shout out prize winner for September. So the way this works is every time somebody goes onto my chalk site and places an order and they round up their order, making a donation to Watts of Love, their name goes in the prize basket. It goes in the little wheel, the random wheel picker. For a chance to win some chalk goodies from me. Also, anybody who claims the project for the month, that's today's project, their name goes in the wheel to win, or you can just go to my site and make a flat donation to Watts of Love. Watts of Love is a program, it's a nonprofit agency that brings light to people who live in darkness, and the country that Couture has chosen to work with is in Malawi. So we particularly send our donations to the country of Malawi. Each light costs, it's a solar powered light that will last the family 10 years, costs $50 US. So $50 in donations will get us one light. And I'm really super stoked to announce you guys, last month, the Comfy Nest community donated $128.97, which means we got 2.5 lights. So we got 2 lights to send to 2 families in Malawi. This will impact their family for up to 10 years, and each family is about 7 people. So that's a lot of impact for a few donations over the month of September. So thank you to all of you who donated. There were 11 people who donated. There were 18 donations totaling that $128.97. The winner of the shout out prize. So I wish I could give everybody a prize because you're all winners. You're all just beautiful giving hearts for donating to Watts of Love and participating in that program. These people live in different circumstances than we do here in America in general. But I will say Watts of Love has donated to American families as well. They were down in Louisiana when the hurricanes hit there last year. Maybe it was that this year, handing out solar powered lights to the people in Louisiana. So they are not limited to just helping people in other countries. They help out all over. It's just that Couture has committed to the country of Malawi for a few years to supporting that country. So our donations that we make through Couture go to Malawi. So the winner of the shout out prize, I will be sending this person some Couture goodies just for me as a thank you. But like I said, you're all winners. But the winner is Judy Hoffenberger. So Judy, if you are here, congratulations, friend. You are the winner. I'll be sending you some happy mail. I'm going to grab this. Let me see if I can grab this feed here on my iPad. Here we go. I found it. That was fast. So I can see the comments. There's Susan. Hello. Susan is a Watts of Love participant. Thank you for donating, Susan. There's Brenda. Hello, Brenda. There's Lori and Anne. Hello, ladies. So I'm going to be creating a project today. Again, first Wednesday of every month. I create a project. I donate all the supplies, my time and energy, creativity to create the project. And then I ask somebody in the live audience or replay, if that's the way it works out, to claim the project by making a donation for the allotted amount. So today's project is for $20. So I'm looking for a $20 donation to Watts of Love. And then I ask the winner, whoever wins, to just pay the shipping for me to get this to you. So that's how that works. I'm going to create with this month's Club Couture transfer, which, backwards. Let's fix the backwardness. Hold on. Let me press a few buttons here. Hold your horses. There we go. It's so pretty, you guys. This is such a lovely design. It's exclusive to people who are members of the Club Couture. Or if you are a designer, if you are signed up as a designer with the company, you get this transfer. That's the only 2 places. Those are the only 2 groups of people who get this design. So if you don't have it, I'm going to be using it to create this project. So it will make this project even more valuable to you. And then you can, if you want to claim the project, you can just say, I claim it in the comments now or in the replay, or just private message me too. If you're live, just put it in the comments because I've had more than one person claim on a given Wednesday. So the first person to comment gets it. I am creating it on one of our palette boards. So these chunky, beautiful palette boards, they have this gorgeous texture to them. They have the little nail holes, which I love because it makes it super rustic. These will stand on their own. So if you have a place like a shelf, a mantle or something that you want this to go on, you sure could stand it up. Or the winner can tell me if you want, I can add jute rope hanger to this. So if you wanted to hang it on the wall, you could do that as well. I'm going to paint this. So that's the first thing we're going to do is paint it, and then we're going to design it. Let me know when you're here. Say hello, please. Hey, Text BFF, there's Debbie. Thanks for sprinkling, Miss Fran. When Fran says she's sprinkling, it means she shared it. So thank you for doing that. That helps me so much. You can't even know. All of us creatives, business owners, it doesn't matter if somebody's online sharing on social media, if they're cooking for you, if they're reading poetry, if they are a musician. I've seen some fantastic musicians online, and if you are not able to give stars, which is like a tip jar, or shop from their site, which would support their business, then sharing their content is a great way to support anybody that you want to support on social media. So thank you, Fran. Thank you. It helps so much because what it does is it helps us meet new people across social media land, across the world, really, because, oh man, I was listening to the stats the other day. It was yesterday. It felt like it was days ago when, was it yesterday that everything went down, right? On Facebook for like 6 hours. And it must have been the day before, but I was listening to the news yesterday about like just the statistics. One of the reporters was saying like how many people use. It's unbelievable how many people use Facebook. So when you hit that share button, if you share it to a group that you belong to, or if you send it as a message to a few friends, or if you share it on your own page, either business page or your own personal page, it's just like you're saying to the world, hey, I got a lot of value from this. You might too. Check out this chick over here creating things. And then it just, it might go across one of your friends or family's pages. And that's a good way for us to connect. So thank you for doing it. I'm painting it black. I know it's fall, but I kind of wanted this to be a high contrast to the paste that I've chosen to work with here. And the base of it's white. I'm just painting the front. I'm not going to paint the rest of it. And I am going to distress it back. So you can see I'm not getting super specific about doing the sides because I'm going to end up distressing it back anyway. So let's get this first coat on. I might do 2 right in the middle because this apple barrel paint, you get what you pay for, folks. This apple barrel paint, this was the biggest container of black paint that I have, so it's the one that I grabbed, but it's notoriously thin, so you may on your projects end up needing to do 2 coats. Just FYI. It's not a problem. It just means a little bit more work. Still works great. All right, let's see. I want to make sure that there's no like major brush strokes. So once I've got it all wet, I do go back and give it a quick top to bottom brush stroke so it's nice and smooth. We're going to dry this with the Couture drying tool, and then we'll keep going with this project. So, Brenda, thank you for the stars. Hey, Miss Anita, hello and happy birthday. It's Anita's birthday. Everybody say happy birthday to you. You do not want me to sing, friends. You do not want me to sing. But happy birthday. Let's see, what other comments am I seeing? Oh, my internet, it's cutting up today. Oh no, Anita, that's no fun. I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, Lindsay. Hello, Miss Lindsay. Lori says, I'll donate. Lori's claiming it. Lots of love. Give her. Thank you for being a giving heart. She's claiming the project for $20, so thank you for doing that. Thank you, Lori. What I'll do is, Lori, you know how to go to my site and make a donation. If you go to chatcouture.com/makeitcomfy and then go to the Watts of Love tab under the shop, you'll find the area to make that $20 donation, and then we'll just work out the shipping and get it off to you. Yay! Thank you. All right, you can see it's quickly drying. See, I like that it's a really matte paint. I like that it's really matte. I want it to look really rustic kind of, but I am going to add a little more paint because you can see the white through there. I don't mind the sides because, like I said, I'm going to just dress that back, but on the middle, I'm going to add a little more paint. We're going to come in with a little more just to get this a little darker, and I'm going to do it like in a crossing, like you can see I'm doing like little X's with this big wide brush. So it's going to look scratchy and rustic. That's what I'm going for. Scratchy and rustic. I could say I'm scratchy and rustic. Oh gosh. It's getting cold, you know, and as I get older, whoo, the cold is like, it feels colder. My joints don't like it, man. Isn't that crazy? And it's supposed to rain this weekend. So here I am, like so many older people that I know that say, oh, I can tell it's going to rain. Heck, I can feel it too, my friend. I know it's coming. All right. See what I did? I just darkened the middle a little bit more to give us a nice solid contrasted background for the project itself. Leaving the edges. I don't mind if the edges are a little bit not completed, because I'm going to use my sanding block and distress this back a little bit more. But I want that middle to be really solid, even if I come in and sand it a little bit. All right, step 2, second coat. I know, Debbie, I wish I could. I petitioned my family to go to Florida. Anywhere south, Texas, Louisiana, anywhere south, where it's not so cold, because it's going to get cold here. Maybe someday, but our work is here, our kids' school is here. We love it here, our church is here. That would all be hard to leave. Someday, maybe, Miss Debbie, we'll be joining you down south. All right. See how it's a nice, once you get rid of that wetness, it's like a nice ruddy black, which I like. I'm going to work, this is still drying a little bit, but I'm going to grab my sanding block, if I can. Yeah, it's used and abused sanding pad. It's okay. I'm going to sand the edges just a little bit more. I want them to really, yeah, that's what I want. Very lightly. I'm not putting a lot of pressure. I just want it to look really rustic. Yeah, that's what we're going for. I've got it hanging off the edge of the table because I'm lazy. I'm like letting all that dust fall to the floor, and I'll clean that up later as opposed to letting it get on my table. So see the difference? I did this edge, everything's backwards for me, and this edge. Nope, wait a minute. Wrong. I did this edge and this edge. And so you can see the white, like, because I just stressed it back, you can see the white there, and then down this side. As of this one I haven't done yet, and I like that look where it's going to give it a nice white frame all the way around. And it doesn't have, it shouldn't be, it doesn't, we don't want it to be perfect, but we want to distress back the paint to give it a nice white frame all the way around. I like to focus a little more on the corners. Now you can, I don't know if you know this, if you use a chalk-based paint or an acrylic paint, you can use a rag and water. It's called wet distressing. You don't even have to use a sandy block. It's a lot cleaner. You don't have any of that sand falling all over the place, that dust. And it doesn't make as much noise. All right, let's see. A couple more spots, I think. I'm going to focus on the edges. There. Now, I'm actually looking at it in the camera there. If I can see it from afar, it does help me decide, do I want more of it? Do I want less of it? I am going to grab my rag. Some little craft rag. I'm going to add some water on it. Let's do a little bit of wet distressing. I want to go closer in the middle, but I don't want to hit, I want to be more controlled over what gets distressed. So I wet a part of the rag and I just put my fingers in there. So I have just this little amount of space for sanding. It's not really sanding, distressing, as opposed to this entire block. Okay. So now I have a little more control over what comes off, and I'm taking some of that paint back. Okay. I'm just going to go into these corners a little bit so you can see the paint's coming off onto my rag. Make sure it's a rag you really don't care about. And also, you can just wipe it if you want to get that sand off from your sanding block. Let's see. I kind of want it to go up a little bit here. I'm going to do a lot to this. There's going to be quite a few steps here. Well, not quite a few, but a few steps. But you see how this is, I'm just using my finger and I'm pulling back some of the paint. And listen, if you go into this and you've started this and you're like, man, I wish I hadn't taken that much off, just go back and add your paint back. It's not hard. You just go and add another layer of paint and you're ready to go. Pretty simple. All right, let's dry that, get all the water off of there. We got this rustic looking surface so far. So I'm gonna chalk with a couple of different colors, and then I'm gonna come in with some embellishments to embellish it. But before we do any of that, we need to wax this because it's a very thin coat of paint. It's an acrylic paint that's, like I said, pretty thin anyway. I'm going to take this adhesive reusable transfer. You can see that it's adhesive. It sticks really well on things. Like I'm holding up all the weight of that paper backing and the transfer, which is an 8x10 transfer, on my finger, just from the adhesive on the transfer. I've already fuzzed it twice. I did that just for the sake of time. It's gonna stick pretty strongly onto this like clean, flat surface, my paint, and I don't want it to pull my paint off. So I'm gonna wax it. I am gonna wax it. I gotta find my wax, it's right here. I'm gonna use the surface wax by Couture. You buy a tin of this on my site. I think it's in stock. A lot of times it goes out of stock. I think it's in stock. You can truly use any clear furniture wax, but if you go to the hardware store to buy it, it's gonna be a much bigger tin that will last you literally a lifetime. I opened this in July 20 and I'm getting to the bottom, but I still have quite a bit left. I don't use wax that often on my projects, so I'm just pointing out to you that the wax tin is plenty for most of us to get through the projects that we need to wax. Actually, it's starting to feel a little bit like it's getting a little bit old, like it's drying up finally. You know what? I'm gonna show you. Let me see if I can find it, girl. Hang tight. Oh, yes, it's right here. I'm going to show you quickly, because I know a lot of you are crafty crafters. There are many waxes out there, and you know me, I got all the waxes. This is Sloan soft wax. This thing, I wish I had put dates on these way back. It's got to be 8 years old. I don't know. This one, I don't think I put a date on this one either. This is Min wax. Like, you can get this at your local hardware store or on Amazon. For Sloan, you have to find a stockist, but Dixie Belle has a wax, I'm pretty sure. There's lots of companies that have waxes. Hers is actually my favorite, and I'm gonna just see. This tin is almost empty. I've been using this for years. Hers might not be. This one feels like it's starting to dry out after all that time. This one is not drying out. Okay. This one I bought in July of 20. So it's like over a year old, a year and a few months old. I still have that much left, but it is starting to dry out a little bit. You can see it because it's kind of pulling up. This one is still really nice and soft, and I bought it like 8 years ago. I'm going to use the Sloan just because I have it. It's going to be easier for me to use. Could I use this? Yes, absolutely. It's just going to be more work. And you guys know me. I be the lazy crap. I'm the lazy girl. I don't want to work any harder than I have to. Truthfully, I don't. So what you do, you just have to apply it to your surface. You can see where I put it and where I haven't. It makes it a little darker. Almost all the paints, even black, you can see when you put a wax over it. Here, I'll do the top half and then I'll show you. You put the wax on the top half but not on the bottom. You can see it makes it a little darker. It makes it a little more intense. And it gives it a tiny sheen. The more that you rub it, the more sheen you're going to get. You're going to get more and more shine to it. It doesn't matter what kind of wax it is. That's what's going to happen. I will also point out when you're buying this stuff, like it probably says it on here. If this one doesn't say it. Paste finishing wax. You want to make sure that you get clear. See how it says clear on there? Because they come in colors, you know, some of them are amber, some of them are black, some of them are brown. You want to make sure you get clear because you don't want, well, I would think You don't want like to put brown on top of a black paint. You want most, clear is most versatile. You can put it on anything. So here we do, we apply it, and I'm just using like a shop rag, like a shop paper towel, basically. One of those disposable shop rags. So I apply it, and then once you get it all on there, that's what you get there. I'm gonna throw that out because it has wax on it. I'm gonna take the other half of that paper towel, it has nothing on it, and I'm going to wipe it off. You just wanna make sure you don't have any residual, like, bunches of wax, because you want it to cure and dry nice and evenly. And I'm going in one motion, in the same motion that the boards are going, in the same direction, I should say, that the boards are going. And you can, so I'm going to show you something. If I just rub back and forth quickly, so I'm basically buffing. If I just buff this top one quite a bit, the more you do this, the more shiny it gets. So you see how much more shiny that top is than the bottom two? That's the result of buffing it. You come in, and the shinier you want it, the more you come in and you buff, buff, buff. It's like wax on, wax off, okay? So I'm gonna come through. I just wanna make sure I don't have any residual wax. I want to make sure that it's nice and even, the application. I want to make sure that when I put my transfer down on top of this, that the transfer isn't going to be picking up wax on the back either. Okay, we are done. See how easy breezy that was? It does take a little bit of the paint, but not enough that it makes a difference. See, so pretty. So pretty. Okay, that gives us a gorgeous surface to work with. So that's a little wax 101. I have other waxes on hand. I'm just not going to take the time to dig them out. My surface wax from Couture, you guys watch me. I don't use it very often, to be honest with you. But I think it's doing pretty good for having been opened over a year ago. And for as often as I use it. Okay, here comes the pretty part. Very thankful, grateful, incredibly blessed with this really beautiful, I think it's a sprig of wheat. That's what I think it is. Okay, so this is the transfer that everybody who is a member of the club gets. Club Couture. I'm going to go a little bit low on here, which is unusual. Usually I go a little high because I have some embellishments that I'm going to add to the top of this. But I want to make sure it's straight first. So I'm coming in. You can use the bottom of your transfer design, because it's a perfect 90 degree, that straight edge to give you a straight line and make sure you're not wonky horizontally. You want to make sure it's down nice and smoothly. I can feel something's, there's a bump right there. There's a bump. There's something like a little piece of, it looks like a piece of salt. It's probably a piece of glitter from another project. Oh, probably could be like crystal glitter. It was like it looked like salt, but I'm sure it was glitter. Okay, you want to make sure it's nice and smooth. So it's all stuck on there. It's not going to budge while you put your design on here. I'm going to get rid of the black paint for now because I don't think I need it anymore. So let me get rid of my thing of paint. Okay, so now we're going to use squeegees and we're going to push through our paste onto the design. So I'm going to grab a bunch of squeegees and my paste, and we're going to make something pretty for Lori. Let's see who's here. See what other comments we have. Oh, Lori, see if you can try a different browser. See if you can try it on a different browser. If you use Waverly chalk paint as your base, is it okay to use Waverly clear wax? You sure can. Yeah, absolutely, Mimi. Yes. Hey, Diane Whalen. Hello. Mimi, if you go to Google and you say Annie Sloan distributor, you'll have to find one in your area. The closest one to me is 2.5 hours away. I usually order, if you go like the purple painted lady in New York, I've ordered from her before. She's fantastic. She has like everything Annie Sloan carries, and she ships out, like she's really reliable and quick about her shipping. Hey, Michelle. Hello. She's going to make a donation. Yay, Michelle. Whoop, whoop. She's going to make another donation. Michelle, your name goes in that hat for the shout out prize winnings each month every time you make a donation. So thank you. The bigger thing is you're buying a light that $50 donation buys a light for somebody in Malawi, which is amazing. It's such a big gift you are giving. It's huge. It's changing their lives forever, really. Couture is cool because what they do is they go in, once a year, they take 1 or 2 designers to Malawi with the Watts of Love people, and they go make a mission trip to Malawi, giving out lights and connecting with the people there, learning about the program. And what Watts of Love does is they go and they give the lights, but they also provide education to the families. So just really quickly, these families use, if they don't have a solar powered light, like the one that you're giving them, they use either kerosene or they use wax candles. They burn that for their light source in their home. And the kerosene, of course, is very bad for their lungs, and it causes a lot of fires, unfortunately, so it endangers everybody in the home. But they're spending their money, and it's usually like 1/3 of their salary every month goes toward this kerosene and lights. So when you make that donation of $50 to buy a light for one of these families, what Watts of Love does, they go in and they teach them, they educate them to save that 30% that they were spending on kerosene, save it, and they help them come up with a plan, a budget plan. Like if you save it for the next 6 months, say, it's going to give you this much money, and they help them come up with a goal. Like, what's your goal? If you saved that money, in 6 months you would have this much money. You could afford a chicken, you could afford a pig, you could afford a donkey, like whatever it is, livestock that would help their family. It's amazing. So it's not just about the lights. It's also about educating and helping families move forward in a positive way. So it really is a beautiful thing. So thank you, thank you. Okay, I've got white. I've got shimmer olive. White is white. I don't really need to show you that one. That's shimmer olive. I've got shimmer copper. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these, and I have shimmer gold. Okay, I'm going to use the white for all the words, so let me get a bigger squeegee for that. This is actually considered a small squeegee. I usually use the minis. I like having a lot of minis on hand. But I'm going to use the small to do the white part, which is all the words. And this thing. And then I'm going to come in with the wheat and the leaves. Actually, should I do gold? And Lori, you can decide. Do you want this base in gold or in white? I was going to do white. I was going to do white and then put green on the leaves and gold on the wheat. Maybe I should just stick with my plan because the white will coordinate really well with the base of the project. I did think that through. The white on most of it, and then I've already got paste on my fingers. Let me grab a paper towel. Uh-oh. I gotta move it. I have a glass container there. It's like a huge 5-gallon container, and it has all my scraps of fabric in it. I gotta move it because it's right there in the way. Right next to my paper towels. Just got here, better late than never. Hey, Penny. Hello, hello. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Okay, let's go with white. It's going to be nice and bright. That was my original intention. We're going to do the words all in white. So I'm going to use this to apply, and then I'm going to use this to spread. And then I'm going to do some green, I think in gold, for the wheat and the wheat and the leaves. Wheat for gold and green, excuse me, the green color. I think that'd be very pretty. I have way too much on there, like way more than I need. So I'm going to take some of that off because I don't need to keep spreading more of it. I just need a little bit of it so I can reach into these little fine places toward the bottom that get closer to the other part. Now I'm doing this top part. This is called paste and peel. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to peel it back to make sure that, oh my gosh, it's so bold and beautiful. I'm pasting it. I'm peeling this back so that this can dry and this can dry. If I leave it down, the reason we do this paste and peel method is because if I leave it down, the stencil is actually a mesh silk screen. And if I leave it down, there's a chance that your paste could dry while you're working on the other parts with all the different colors. Your paste could dry inside the mesh, inside the stencil. So when you peel it back, you don't get the full design on your board, and we don't want that. We want it to be fully designed. So I peel it back before I finish the rest. I'm going to make sure this is nice and dry, the stencil. Make sure your board is nice and dry. Now I will say, the Couture tool, it's a drying tool. It has a little bit of heat. I have it on the low setting. There's also a high setting. Low, okay, high and low. When you use wax, be careful with heat. This does not get very hot. It's not an embossing tool. You cannot emboss with it. It's a drying tool, so it doesn't get hot. Like, I'm not going to burn my finger here. It feels like the lightest setting on your hairdryer. You could just use a hairdryer. Just make sure that you don't get really close to your wax, because wax will melt. It's a wax that we just put on there, and it will melt, and we don't want it to melt. We just want this to dry. So I'm going to place that back down. Another tip for you if you're doing the designing yourself. I'm going to make sure that all of this is stuck down really well before I continue on, because I still have to chalk these itty bitty parts here. Okay, I'm going to do this in white. I'm going to do these words in white. Then I'm going to come in with gold and green for the rest of it. I'm going to grab a different squeegee. Here's an example for you. These are two different tools. This one's called the multi-tool. This hook-looking squeegee on the end is for getting inside your paste jars and being able to stir and scrape out paste. This side is like a mini squeegee, okay? So it's much smaller than a mini. You see the size difference? And then we have this guy. And this one's really mini. See, it's like a third. The tip is like a third of the size of the multi-tool. And this one has a squeegee on one end, and it has like a poker on the other end with a cap. It does come with a cap. It's a little plastic poker. And the reason this is helpful is if you don't have any nails and you've got your thing stuck down and you want to get it back up, this will help you lift the lip, the edge of your adhesive silk screen, so you can get it up off your project. I'm probably going to use both of those. We'll see. I've got my mini loaded up already with some white paste, and I've got to do, I want to avoid the sprigs of wheat. I just want to get the rest of the words and this scrolly design around it. And then the leaves and the wheat, I'm going to do a different color. Oh, I see paste getting all over my fingers right here. I'm so messy when I create. Is anybody else a messy crafter? It can't just be me, is it? Please tell me it's not just me. I kind of wonder if I shouldn't. I'm thinking I should just do the whole thing white and then come in with the gold. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to do the whole thing white, because then it'll have a nice base after I did all that fussing. It's okay because I was able to showcase to you how you paste and peel. But I think what I'll do, this is going to leave the design, the shape of the designs for the leaves and for the wheat. And then I'll be able to come in with these other colors and paint them in. Oh, I'm running out of white paste. I'm almost out of that bottle. I'm going to have to buy some more. That jar, that pot. All right, let's do it. After all that, and then I decided to just do the whole thing white. Just totally fine. Now this we've already pulled up, so there's really almost nothing to pull up, but the rest of it's really stuck down. So we're going to pull it up and reveal this amazing design. What I do with mine now, I put these right back on the shiny side. There's a dull side and there's a shiny side to your backer. Put it on the shiny side, and then I can take that to a sink and just wash it off with water. It's that easy. And then I put it with the sticky side up on a soft towel and let it dry. And then when it's dry, I put it back on its backing, and it's ready for the next time you want to use it. So far, listen, I like it just the way it is. I'm going to embellish with some bows on the top, but I'm serious. I was planning on coming in with gold on the leaves and on the wheat, gold on the wheat and maybe some green on the leaves. But Lori, if you're still here, you tell me. I really, honestly, I just think that's so gorgeous with just that. I really do. And I'll show you what I'm planning for the top. I can put the white paste away while Lori's thinking and typing. Lori, you tell me if you want me to add the green and the gold, I will. If you like it just the way it is, we'll leave it. If it were going to my house, honestly, I would leave it just the way it is, because now that I see it on that white palette board with the black base and the white design, I really love it. I really love it the way it is. So you tell me, Miss Lori. This is the fun, actually, of, she says she loves it. She likes it this way, too. Lori, you and me, we're like this. This is the fun part about coming first Wednesday of the month. Usually it's at 2 o'clock. I come on, and if you're on the text alert service, you'll get the notification of what time it is, but it's normally at 2 o'clock. I come on and I do a project. I ask for somebody to claim it. Now, this board retails on my website. If you just bought the board because you wanted to create a project, it's $14.99. I'm asking for a $20 donation to Watts of Love, which is not unfair, right? You're going to get, like, the board is going to be all done for you. I will top coat it. It will be, you know, we'll get it in the mail to you, and I'm going to add some embellishments. This needs to dry, and then I'm going to add some embellishments to it. So if you come, then you get to decide. Like, Lori gets to decide. Do I want to do color, or do you want to leave it black and white? I like it black and white. I think you made a good choice. I'm going to hit it with some air just to make sure this is dry so I don't smudge anything. Oh, you guys, it's such a pretty design. This is the Club Couture transfer design for this month. So if you join anytime this month, either as a designer, which you guys, if you have any inkling to, if you've been thinking about becoming a designer, you let me know, and I'll give you all the logistics on that. But there's the Christmas Countdown kit is being added to the designer kit, the $99 kit, for free this month. But they also have the $19, like the basic kit, where you can build your own starter pack. But designers get this, Club Couture members get this. It's so pretty. Okay, look what I have. Let's see if we can use it. I have this really cool, it's like a wire. It makes a mess though. I want to push this aside because I don't want to get all this. It does like shed. It's like, it reminds me of moss, but it's like chicken wire that has moss all over it. I want to put a bunch of this over the top here, but I don't want to cover the whole thing. So I'm going to cut it. I've got my wires here. My little wire to, what are they called? Wire cutters. I've got those, and I'm going to cut a chunk of this. I think I'm going to cut it like so it comes down just to where the design meets. So I need to cut it. I'm going to cut it there. I think I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to cut it a little bigger than I need, and then if I have to cut it back, I will. Because I just want a piece of this. I don't need the whole thing. Actually, I think that this stuff is thin enough that I could probably use scissors to cut it. It's a little pokey, Lori, so when you get this, you're not going to be wanting to handle this a whole lot. It's wire underneath, like chicken wire, but it's like a really thin gauge chicken wire. You probably could cut through this, like I started to say, with scissors. Okay, this thing I'm going to put aside. Actually, I'm going to stick it. Let me close this up so it doesn't poke me. Right on the top of my garbage. I can grab that later. Look at how bright and beautiful it is, though. I thought, and Lori, since you are here, you can say whether you think you like it or not, but I was thinking that I would hover this over the top, and I won't glue anything down until Lori decides, since it's her project. That's the fun part of coming. You get to say, hey, leave the green moss out, or no, I love the green moss, keep it. Conceptually, here's my idea. That this would be kind of like a capstone to this, hovered over the top. And then I have lots of ribbon and, well, it's actually raffia. It's not ribbon. Because it's about harvest time, right? It's about like this time of the year in the fall when we celebrate Thanksgiving, being very thankful, grateful, and incredibly blessed. So I was thinking, like, what's more fall and rustic than a bunch of raffia. I lost my words. You guys. That was like a total brain fart in the I'm trying to talk to you. So I'm thinking, just bear with me, because I'm trying not to glue anything down until she says she likes it or not. Okay, a little extra there. Now I'm just going to turn this around, so for the sake of me doing this, because it's going to take me a minute here to figure this out. I'm thinking I want, let's get rid of you for just a split second so I can figure out how much of this I need. I'm going to wrap this around several times. 1, 2, 3. We're going to make a really pretty raffia bow, and I have some other greenery here. Okay, that's plenty. Let's cut this off because I'm thinking that this is going to be wrapped around the top, on the top. This is just a conceptual. I haven't done it yet. To the side, I have some more like jute rope and greenery that I'm going to make a little bow with the raffia. Oh, Anita, she says, my phone is working fine. I need to get that Christmas countdown kit. I want to do it with my grandkids. Debbie, we're doing, on November 21st, we're doing a big like craft party. It's a Zoom party, and it's also, I think, going to be in the private Facebook group for this event at 7 p.m. And we're doing prizes, and we're going to play games, and we're going to create that kit together. So if you purchase that, if you have purchased it or you're going to purchase it from me, I'll get you the link so you can join the party and join the fun. Now, you certainly don't have to do that, but it would be really fun to create it. We're all going to do it together on Zoom. So there you go. That's going to be, I think that's going to be really fun. All right, let me see about creating a little finger bow with this. No, I don't want a finger bow. I think I'm going to do a messy bow. So let's create a little messy bow with this and with some raffia. And I have some other ribbons too. I'm trying to think through it, you know, as I go. I'm trying to think through it, as you can tell, and I can't think and talk at the same time. My husband's like, we're trying to watch a movie, and then he'll try to talk to me, and I'll be like, what did you just say? I was listening to the movie. Well, can't you listen to me too? No, I can't. The movie's on. No, I cannot. Okay, so we are going to make, I haven't decided. I've got all these things yet, and I'm trying to decide how much greenery on here. It's going to be so fun. Lori's liking it. Yay, I'm so glad, Lori. I'm trying to decide how much greenery, and hold on, I had some other sprigs that we could consider. Hang tight. I will be right there. I haven't left you. I have not left you. What I'm doing is I'm grabbing a whole bunch of this stuff because I don't know yet what I want to use, but you know, I buy these things, like I might see one that I really like, and either online or if I'm at the store, and I grab it thinking, and I don't ever buy more than like one because, well, sometimes I do. These were from the Dollar Tree not a long time ago, last year, I think. I've had those since last year. I did not buy them this year, but this, look at how beautiful. Look at the mustard colored leaves. And I don't know what those, I don't know if you call them flowers or what the heck they are. Maybe it says on here, it just says fall. Hobby Lobby. It doesn't say what it's supposed to be, but how pretty is that? Because we can put that back here too. So the first thing, if you like the green moss, Miss Lori, the first thing we need to do is get the green moss on. And then I think I'm going to put everything else on top of that, because the green moss is cool and it's really bright and vibrant, but I don't want it to be like, oh, look, there's like this green moss hanging over the project. I don't want it to be like really obvious like that. So I'm going to first position it where I want it. This is going to be underneath. It's just going to be like the backdrop, as they say. And I'm trying to figure out, because these are kind of pokey, but I think if I wrap the pokey part around the back, Lori, you'll be safe. I'll glue that stuff down so that it'll be like on top, and it'll go around the sides, and we can glue that down. I also want to tie it down with this. So I'm going to get my hot glue gun on. And then I'm going to have to pick it up, and you may not be able to see everything that I'm doing, but just to manage this, I always leave, when I do this wrap and then I'm gonna make a bow, I always leave a nice like 8-inch tail up front here. It's not getting wrapped up into the project because I wanna have a nice long tail for my bow. It'll like add that tail to my bow. And actually, Lori, if I do this right, which this has to go up a little higher. If I do this right, I might not even have to glue this down. And then for you, because you are claiming this as your own, when you get it home, you can do whatever you want. If you want to like change it up, if you have this and then next year you say, yeah, I'm going to do something different, you could totally take this off. Which, by the way, if you have glued something on a project, like hot glued something on, even if it's regular glue, like craft glue, and you want to take it off that project, I want you to know, all you have to do is use your heat tool, your heat gun. Even a hairdryer works sometimes. Get your hairdryer out, get your heat tool out, and just warm it up. And that glue, this is anything, even things that you buy at the Dollar Tree, and there's something glued to the front of it, like a bow or something that you don't want on the front of this little design. All you have to do is heat it up with your hairdryer or your heat gun, and it will like pop right off of there. So don't ever be afraid to customize. Okay, so we got that. Just like that is exactly what I wanted. And I was going to put a little bow over here to the side. So I'm going to just tie this. It's not even glued down. We could glue it down if we need to. I'm going to tie this on here pretty tightly. And actually the raffia is working like it's holding down. I like that a lot. As a backdrop, it's almost like, you know what it reminds me of? I'm a huge fan of moss, but you know when you go like to like an old country church and they have the little stone wall with all the moss like in between the stones, like those old stone like little walls that you can sit on by the cemetery or by the church. That's what it reminds me of, and it makes me feel like it's like super like rustic and country decor. I think it's really pretty. And that positioning is great. Okay, so now we just have to decide what to do with a bow here. I can do a raffia bow, but let's look at some of this stuff because it's going to add a really beautiful color. I am a huge fan of this. Like I said, I got it at Hobby Lobby and I've been using it. I clip stuff off of it quite often. I'm probably going to need more of it. So it has these really soft, they're like, almost feel like velvet. It's not velvet. It's like foam. They're like a really thin foam. Leaves, and then it has all these sprigs, and I snip them off and use them at will. So let's snip off a section here. These are thicker. Whoop, there's one. There's two. And these we could probably stick in here. I'll glue them down, Lori, so you don't have to worry about them falling off. But see, this is too long. This one piece is much too long. Let me check time. Yeah, I'm good on time. I have got to pick up my son. That's why I'm wondering about time. So I cut them up into little pieces, and then you can create your own size design for these, right? But if nothing's permanent here. I'm just sticking it in. We can always glue it down later. But if I get those going, ouch, pokey. That thing poked me. I'm going to curl those under for you, Lori, so you don't get poked. See where I'm going with this? So I've got a couple of them on there. I like these, but these are really vibrant. So this one's really small too, so that's good. Whoops, I'm not going to use the pumpkins, they're too much. There are some pumpkins on here. So what I do is I take it down to the wire. Like if I want to use this leaf because it's gorgeous, but I grab the wire that goes with it. Can you see the wire there? So that I have something to either wrap around the bow or to glue down into this project. With all of that tie, you can just stick those in there. I'm going to grab my tweezer. I am going to wrap that one around. Grab my tweezer. The wires on some of these are thicker and on some of them they're thinner. And that one is really thin. So if I can get it up, you can hear it smacking against the... I'm trying to get it up so I can, so I can wrap it around so it really stays in place there. Got it. Okay, so we got that. A little bit of time, and I don't know, let's see, maybe we'll add a bow in the front, maybe we won't. This one's gorge. Now, see how it's got all this paper wrapped around the main stem? That's what holds all these other little things in place. So if you cut the paper off of the stem, you can get to the wires and unwrap these and get more of the wire. So you have more length of that wire available to you. A lot of times these are thin enough. Yeah, regular scissors work. So if I wanted to see more of that length of that wire, you just have to pull the paper. I don't know if you know this, like the anatomy of these things. You pull the paper off from around the main stem, and then all these other little wires, they go all the way down the main stem, holding them all in place. And then you have more wire to use to connect your project. So it's like you can customize it to however you want. All right, let's go. This one going this way, and I am going to wrap it. Lori, I think this is going to be in such, it's going to be so much in place because I'm wrapping a lot of these wires around themselves that I'm not going to need to glue anything down. And the nice thing about that is you can take it apart. You know, if you want to keep this up and you want to get rid of the fall leaves, you could take it all apart and just put whatever bow you want on the top when you're bored of it. I'm just trying to make sure everything is secured and it has good spacing so that you can see it. I love this fussy work. I love it. I just think it's so stinking pretty. We got a little fuzzy there we don't need. Go away, fuzz. Where did you come from? Okay. Okie dokie schmooky. I might consider no ribbon here, just raffia and the, look at how pretty, you guys. I don't want to cover any of this, right? I don't want to cover any of that, but I want to add all this beautiful color. So I had this originally, but I'm not even sure that I'm going to use that. This is the fun part for me. You like grab out all your stuff and you just start looking around at what do I got and what do I want to use. These are really dainty and pretty, and they do have different colors. Like that one's a light green, like a medium green. That one's like gold with some orange lines in it. This one's more of a like ruddy green. If I could push these all up. Oh yeah, can I? Will you move for me, or am I just gonna pull it? No, it just pulls out. So they stay where they are. They're not gonna move for me. Get that one off. Let's see, we can get this one back here. I know we can. My tweezers will help me like where I can't reach underneath here and grab everything with my fingers are too big. But a set of tweezers really helps with something like this to get things to go where you want them to be able to reach them underneath this mass of stuff. It's like a mass all in one spot, but I promise you when it's all done, it all looks like so coordinated and so cute together, and you have a bunch of fall colors coming together to create this really pretty design. All right, Lori. I love knowing who it's for as I'm doing it. All right, this one's really long here and it's coming out and I don't need that there. I'm gonna cut it and I will wrap that. It'll get wrapped. Tweezers, where are you? Tweezers or pliers would be a good tool. You guys, so pretty. Maybe something coming down, but that's where the raffia bow can come in. These can come down and like a little raffia bow in front of there. I don't want to make it too like gaudy, like too big. Okay, let's grab, I'm going to grab some of the original raffia that I use. Let's not introduce a new one. And let's make a bow. These are finger bows. They're really easy to make. I'm going to use 3 fingers because that's how wide I want it. You always leave a tail. Like I said, when you're creating a bow, leave a tail. I'm going to wrap, actually, let's do 4. I'm going to wrap, like, it doesn't matter how many times, but however big you want your bow to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll be a pretty hefty bow. Let's do 7 because we can always cut some off. I'm going to leave a tail on the end and then take a piece of that same ribbon, or you can use a different one, whatever you feel like. This is raffia. That's going to help me tie it together. Okay, that's my little tie. But here's what I have. It's all wrapped around my hand. I have one tail here, one tail here. When I slip this off, you get this loop. And when you cinch it in the middle of the loop, so right in here, right in the middle, it's going to give you the loops of your bow, okay? And then here you've got 2 tails, but you need something to tie it with. So I'm gonna tie it right where I've got my fingers cinching that middle. I'm gonna take that extra piece of raffia, I put it down on a surface, and I hold it down with one finger, and I use the other fingers to create the tie, to hold this together. And when I first tie it, I tie it loosely because I usually don't end up tying it directly in the middle. You can see it's lopsided. So it's really loose, and then I can slide this, holding my loops, I can slide that to the middle and then tighten it. And then look at the darling little raffia bow that you have. You have 4 tails now, because we had 2 tails originally. I just added the 2 tails from tying it all together. And then you can fluff these however you want, like however big, or if you want to make them really demure, you can scrunch them down so they're really demure. But that's going to go right in the center of all of our little fall collection here. And I am going to glue this down because I want this to stay in place on top of this other stuff. Silicone tool really helps when you're pushing down into a bunch of hot glue, because you do not want your fingers to burn. And I use that silicone tool to move. I do not like beads of glue in my projects, like a big bead of glue. So I move it around with my silicone tool, or I use my tweezers and I go in and I get that glue before it really gets too hard to move. Because while it's still warm is the best time to grab all of that, okay? Just tip for you while you're creating. Just make sure you have tools, because if you just try to use your nail or your finger, you're going to burn yourself, girlfriend. Okay, look at, Lori, I have some fussy work to do here for you. But look at how cute. It's so cute. This green stuff on the back, this green stuff, it's pokey. This is the edge. So that's all closed off and not pokey. But these edges right here, where I cut it, that's pokey. So Lori, what I'm gonna do for you before you get this, I'm gonna use my tweezer, I'm gonna use a needle nose plier, and I'm gonna turn these all down, like in. I'm gonna turn them all in for you, but just be careful when you get it, because they're pokey, and they make it's so cute, but I don't want you to get poked, okay? So I'm gonna do that for you. I'll try to trim down the really, you know, some of them I can just trim right off. But I hope you guys like this. So this is our Watts of Love project for this month. The first Wednesday of every month, I do a live project, and I ask somebody to claim it during the live. And today, Miss Lori claimed it. She's going to be making a $20 donation to Watts of Love. And then what I ask her to do is just pay for the shipping for me to get this to her. So I will wrap it in tissue wrap and bubble wrap and put it in a box and send it off to her. After it's all, like, I'll do all the fussy work off camera of making sure all those little pokies are gone and everything stays in place. Look at how fun. I hope you guys liked this. I want to thank all of you who are Watts of Love donators. If you have any questions about this product line, if you want to try it, you can just comment sample and you'll get a link that will send you a sample so you can try Couture out yourself. If you're interested in the club, just comment club and you should get a link so you can read all about what the options for that are. Or if you want to join the team, you can say join, and you'll get a link with that. So there we have it, Watts of Love lovers and givers. Thank you for being giving hearts. Thank you for participating and being here. It is Wednesday. So tomorrow I'll be live for Essential Stencil on their page. I go live every Thursday for them. And then I'll be back to my regular page. On Saturday, I'm participating in an event, and I'm presenting at 9 a.m. for the great artists. We have a fall group where there's a different creator every day, all month long, the month of October, in a group. I will be sharing that link on the Company Nest page, so you can head over there. Also, anybody who's on the text alert service will get it, so you can watch for that if you are a text BFF. So there you go. Grateful, thankful, blessed. You guys have a beautiful, blessed day. Thanks for being here. Bye.